Good evening. It's a joy to have you all here tonight as we come to listen to the I'm going to get this right. The Los Altos United Methodist Church Starfire Singers. Carol and Dirk DeMonte are the directors of that, and they've been doing this for 34, 5, 6 years, a long time. But just to give you a bit of background, they sing every week in church. They take a tour every summer, and they go on there's a 4-year cycle. They do the West Coast, they do the Rocky Mountains, they do an overseas trip, and then they do a mission trip in Mexico. So this is a group that is active and alive, doing a lot of other stuff. This is an original composition. Dirk and Carol wrote the music, wrote it all. So we get to celebrate that with them. So I invite you to enjoy this evening. And Dirk, where are you? There you are. I will give you this and go sit down.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and it is a delight for us to be here with you. We were with you here in Roseburg 4 years ago. It was our first time here, and it was just such a wonderful experience. We invited ourselves back. And we want to thank you, first of all, for what an amazing potluck. We were extremely well fed. All these people back here will cheer for that, I'm sure. And we want to thank you for your amazing hospitality. Everybody here has just been wonderful. We've been here 2 nights. We got here last night, and we're staying tonight as well. And our tech folks wanted me especially thank Connie, who's your IT person, who's just been an amazing help with getting. We live stream every one of our shows, and if you want to watch some future shows, it's at starfiresingers.com. She was a huge help, and we're grateful for that. And we're just grateful for all of you and for the amazing hospitality. As you heard, this is our youth choir. This is our high school youth choir. We sing every Sunday in church at one of our 2 morning worship services. And I bring you greetings from the Los Altos United Methodist Church down in the California-Nevada Conference. At the close of this service, we will be receiving an offering. And each of our shows, the offering goes to a cause or causes that the church has chosen. And your church has chosen Casa de Belén. Am I saying that right? And also Camp Millennium. And you'll be hearing a little bit about each of those at the end of the service. And we are glad that we are able to help raise money for these wonderful, worthy causes. So if I could ask you to turn off your cell phones just for the duration of the show. It's only about a little bit more than an hour, so you don't want to get distracted by that, and they just interfere with all the things that are floating through the airwaves here. And I want to tell you just a little bit about this show, CJ Cafe, Building on Our Dreams. People ask me, what does CJ Cafe mean? And it's Christ Jesus, but you don't have to tell anybody that. That was the inspiration. And Carol and I wrote a show 20 years ago in 1999 called the CJ Cafe. And we repeated it the next year, and then it's the only show that we've written that we actually brought back 7 years later. In 2007, we did the show again because it really felt like a show that touched people and that we felt expressed our vision for what the church is called to be, what the church at its best can be, and what the church struggles to be a lot of the time, to be honest. And so that was a really meaningful show for us and for our church. And as we were trying to think of what we wanted this year's show to be, we thought, well, what if we go back to the CJ Cafe and just look at are the dreams and the visions that first show expressed, are they still our dreams and visions for the church? And are they still the things that we feel God is calling us to be? And so what you're going to see tonight is, at the very beginning, you're going to see 2 young women who originally played the roles of the baristas at the cafe back in 2007 when we did it. And they're going to be telling you their actual stories of what they've been doing since then. And so it's kind of like a drama meets reality, and they're really living out these amazing dreams and really changing the world. And then you'll see the final scene from that show 12 years ago, just to kind of give you a flavor of it. And then we'll take it from there, and we'll be bringing our updated vision and our updated ideas of who God might be calling us to be and how God might be calling us to live in the world. So once again, We are just thrilled to be here, to be with you here in Roseburg, and we are proud to present to you CJ Cafe, Building on Our Dreams.
Jordan, how are you? It's been a while.
It has. A memory from Facebook popped up. It was from 12 years ago, the day that Ben left us in charge of the CJ Cafe.
I got that one too. I can't believe it's been 12 years.
I know, time really flies. Remember how scared and confused we were? We thought Ben was crazy turning it over to us. I didn't think there was any way we could do it.
I know, but as always, he saw something we just hadn't seen yet, and it ended up being one of the best things I've ever done.
Me too. And I'm so glad we got to do that together.
It was so amazing, and now it sounds like Eva and Jamie are keeping it going and doing a really great job together.
It sure does. They're really honoring the tradition that started with Ben and also moving forward in new directions and new ways to change the world. Speaking of changing the world, it sounds like you're doing really awesome things. Didn't I read that you were selected as one of Forbes 30 under 30 in Europe?
Yeah, my co-founder and I made the list this year for our work with the Center for Feminist Foreign Policy. Basically with the idea that foreign policy needs little help right now, and we think feminist foreign policy is the best way to do that. So we're working to kind of tackle these really institutional problems of racism, sexism, really strong colonial legacies, capitalist leanings, to make foreign policy that really works for people. Feminist foreign policy basically boils down to the idea that people who are affected by policy decisions should be sitting at the table making those decisions. The idea of nothing about them without them. It was really incredible to get that kind of recognition.
That sounds amazing.
Thank you. Tell me about you. Tell me about your farm to table stuff.
Yeah, so we're up here in northern Vermont, and we're working to build a farm-to-table kind of concept with a chef's table, private events, doing wedding and catering, as well as cooking classes. And our big thing is that we're trying to create a community full of transparency with our food system. So, knowing where everything comes from your sugar to your meat, to your vegetables, to your oil, as well as creating a place full of radical hospitality and sustainability while partnering with our local community and farmers and supporting the local community through outreach as well. In some ways, it seems like so far away from when we left the CJ Cafe.
I know, and in some ways it's like we never left.
Yeah, true. Still changing the world.
Still carrying the message from here.
How can we go on? Who will sing our song? We've barely begun to learn. How soon will you return?
How can you leave us? See how you grieve us. Won't you believe us? We need you. We need you. Don't you see you've always had it with you? Don't you see you've had it all along? Don't you see it everywhere around you? Don't you hear it sung in every song? When you hear the truth, the voice inside you, it shouts aloud that you have got it right. When you share the truth, the life within you, it shines from you, a brilliant guiding light. You've got to carry it far, carry it near, make it loud for all to hear. You can carry on from here. Carry it far, carry it near, make it loud for all to hear. You must carry a message on from here.
Well, it started with a dream and some people who believed it. Together they created a cafe where different people came and they shared their own ideas and they listened to what others might say. With one eye on the prize and another on the task and a couple of feet planted on the earth, they connected with the truth that everyone belongs and that everyone is sacred worth. We still find our heart's desire when we let our souls catch fire. With the love that from each one springs, we are building on our dreams. Well, the dreaming hasn't stopped and the vision doesn't end, and we still have such a long way yet to go. So we honor where we've been, and we pick up some new friends, and we listen to the things they know. We struggle and we try, always lifting up our eyes to the light that guides us all the way. For the hearts and minds of hands that have brought us to today, we are grateful for the words to say. We still find our heart's desire when we let our souls catch fire. With the love that from each one streams, we are building on our dreams. We have seen all God's people as one. We have seen what we can become. The dream is still all that we can be when we share in God's community. We still find our heart's desire when we let our souls catch fire. With the love that from each one streams, we are building on our dreams.
Okay, pull up a chair, everybody. Welcome to World Changers. Our mission is to provide for the basic needs of the community and beyond. Clothing, housing, shelter, that kind of stuff.
I love this place. Haven't been here in a couple of years.
I know, it's so good to know that it's still here.
Well, it will be a great meeting spot for us. Now let's get to work.
First, let's prioritize the most pressing needs and talk about how we can address them.
I hope you guys like this place. Members of our group have been coming here for years.
It seems perfect. It's centrally located, and we can mobilize from here to stage protests and demonstrations.
And it's a great environment to draft legislation.
You think everywhere is a great environment to draft legislation?
Well, yeah, it is.
Hey, my uncle used to come to Bible study here.
Yeah, this is where it all started.
We've come a long way since then.
We have. We're still rooted in Scripture, but now it's about how we live out our faith.
Amen. And it's so great to be here in such a welcoming place.
Eva, these groups have such different agendas. Do you think CJ Cafe will ever really bring people together?
Oh, it will. And it does, Jamie. This is a place where people can come together, a place where they feel welcome, a place where ideas about changing the world just seem to happen.
But it just seems like each group is so isolated. It really seems like they're talking about different things.
They are, for now.
I don't know. Ben started this great place, and Claire and Jordan continued the work that he started. And they passed it on to us, and we've been doing it for a while now, but I'm just not sure things are moving forward anymore. I thought it would be different.
How so?
Well, like more unified, more united towards a common goal.
Sometimes people are more united than they first appear.
Maybe, but I doubt Ben or Claire or Jordan thought we'd still be so isolated in these separate camps all these years later. Why are there still such separate groups? Why aren't the people coming here? Where are those people, you know? The ones who are willing to risk something big for something good? I know it's hard to do, it's been hard for me, but it's worth it. And we need those people to gather here.
Well, remember Ben's motto posted above the bar. The people who need to find this place will find it.
You think that's still true?
I know it's still true.
I hope you're right.
12 years.
12 years?
It was 12 years ago that he walked out the door and he said goodbye. Someone cried, said it'd never be the same.
But look now.
Do you think we've really changed?
Oh, we've grown and we've changed, painted walls rearranged, and we're seeing more. Beyond that door, guess it's never been the same.
Yesterday turned quickly into now, and all I'm thinking about is what's beyond the walls.
What's your passion? Find your people, dream about a big tomorrow. This could be your call. A call to do something that's big and bold. Come on now, you've got a hand to hold, dreams to mold, I've been told.
What if I'm not sure which way to go? What if my dreaming is far too slow? Where to go? I don't know. But somewhere past the door, I know there's so much more. Something in my heart keeps nudging me to start.
Oh, walk alongside me. There's a different way to see. Risk is where we start. Oh, risk will change your heart.
Yesterday turned quickly into now, and all I'm thinking about is what's beyond the walls.
What's your passion? Find your people, dream about a big tomorrow. This could be your call. This could be your call.
This could be the start. This could be the place where we will make our mark.
Hey there, welcome to the CJ Cafe. Is this your first time here?
Yep, it's my first time, but I've heard about it for quite a while.
Yeah, the group we're a part of, World Changers, got its start here.
Really? When was that?
Back when Ben was the proprietor, more than a decade ago. A bunch of people who didn't think they had anything in common realized that they shared a passion for making the world better.
And they found that together they could take the steps to change the world.
And from those first steps out into the world, this group formed. We're committed to doing concrete things to make a difference.
Right. We have people who serve breakfast every Saturday for the homeless, groups that make really great bag lunches, and we help with meals at lots of the local shelters.
And we partner with schools and churches to collect coats and PJs and warm blankets.
And we work alongside local restaurants, sharing food that would be otherwise thrown away.
When there's a need, we try to find ways to meet it.
And we don't do it alone. We partner with community agencies, faith communities, and civic organizations. We're better together.
Right. That first group was made up of people with different interests, religious beliefs, political affiliations. But once they stopped focusing on those things, they all agreed that the thing that matters most is meeting people's immediate needs.
There are so many needs.
If the children ask for bread, you don't give them a stone.
If the people cry for help, you don't leave them alone. If the hungry want some fish, you don't give them a snake. If we want to do some good, we gotta stay awake.
Before anything else, we gotta meet the needs. Before making the speech, we gotta do the deeds. Hungry people don't care if we're red or blue. What we say doesn't help, only what we do. We gotta meet the needs, meet the needs. Meet the needs, meet the needs. Meet the needs, meet the needs. Meet the needs, meet the needs.
If the homeless need shelter, you don't make a speech.
If the jobless need a job, you don't simply preach. If the lonely need a friend, you don't turn them away. If the poor need assistance, no matter what we say.
Before anything else, we gotta meet the needs. Before making the speech, we gotta do the deeds. Hungry people don't care if we're red or blue. What we say doesn't help, only what we do. We gotta meet the needs, meet the needs. 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 Systems do need changing. First hungry mouths need feeding. Politics do matter, but what our people need? Bread and love and water for every son and daughter. A place that's safe and warm, a shelter from the storm. Before anything else, we gotta meet the needs. Before making the speech, we gotta do the deeds. Hungry people don't care if we're red or blue. What we say doesn't help, only what we do. We gotta meet the needs, meet the needs. 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 We gotta meet the needs, meet the needs. Meet the needs, meet the needs. Meet the needs, meet the needs. Meet the needs, meet the needs.
See, the point is that there are hungry people here, now.
We step over the homeless people almost every day, or cross to the other side of the street, or just put on blinders and pretend that we don't know they're even there.
Right, but they're here, all around us. Their needs are real and they're desperate.
It's really about survival.
As long as people are falling off the grid, falling into poverty, we need to be sure that there is a safety net there to catch them.
And catch them now. You know that saying, give a hungry person a fish, you feed that person. Teach a hungry person to fish, and you feed a village? Well, that's all well and good. But if that person is too weak to fish, they need to eat first.
It's all about first things first. As long as they're hungry, hurting people, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. If you wanna get to heaven, gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, gotta give it. First things first, gotta give it. gather up your people, you can overcome all the obstacles awaiting you on the road. See how together we can lighten the load. We have the power to feed the poor. We got compassion and so much more for the hungry and the thirsty and the empty cup. It only takes a couple fish to change it all up. Oh. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. If you wanna get to heaven, gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, gotta give it. First things first, gotta give it. Give it, give it, give it, give it. Now if you wanna get to heaven, well, this is how.
Nothing else matters if no one starts. Quit dragging your heels and be smart. Think about the people whose lives will change when you work to make a difference in His name. We got power, let's give it away. We got power that comes when we pay for the troubles and the thirsty and the weary hearts. With bread and fish together, that's a mighty good start.
First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. If you wanna get to heaven, gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, gotta give it. First things first, gotta give it. Give it, give it, give it, give it. Now if you wanna get to heaven, well, this is how. Fishy, fishy, give 'em a fish. Fishy, fishy, give 'em a fish. Fishy, fishy, give 'em a fish. Give 'em a fish. Fishy, fishy, give 'em a fish. Fishy, fishy, give 'em a fish. Fishy, fishy, give 'em a fish. Give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. First things first, you gotta give 'em a fish. If you wanna get to heaven, gotta give 'em a fish. Give 'em, give 'em a fish.
I get their point, but I still think they're missing the bigger picture.
Of course they are. We all miss the bigger picture to some degree. But don't worry. Be open. Let it unfold and see what happens.
Okay.
Wow, I can't believe we're back at the CJ Cafe. I love this place.
Our group got its start here. From the beginning, we met here to organize and plan ways to disrupt the system, to raise awareness.
But we evolved into a group that was committed to social change by bringing down the systems of oppression that created the conditions that lead to poverty.
The reasons that people are hurting.
Exactly. In those early days, everybody in the cafe went out and did service projects, meeting the needs of the people right where they were. And that was great as far as it goes. The needs had to be met. But some of us wanted to do more. So our focus became strategizing ways to change the system.
That's right.
It's the only way to really change things. Otherwise, we'll be making sandwiches and doing service projects forever.
And really, sandwiches? That's not what we're about. If you want to know the truth, we're about changing the system.
You can fish the lake empty, still the hungry yearn for more. You can build 1,000,000 shelters, still the homeless sleep outside your door. You can broker peace in one place while another goes to war. You can serve soup every weekend, but the thing you can't ignore is it's the system.
We are pouring our resources into buckets filled with holes. We are following the leaders who make policy by polls. So the poor become statistics and not living, breathing souls. And instead of asking why, we're just trying to meet our goals. Yeah, it's the system.
It's the system that creates these conditions. It's the system that sustains these addictions, where success is defined by acquisition, and oppressed stay oppressed by definition, by the system. It's the system. Power, wealth, and greed create systems based on need, and the ones in power feed on the weakest. It's time to overhaul systems that deny the call. Justice is for all, not elitist.
If we only feed the hungry, the hunger soon returns. It's time to ask the question why we seem to never learn that until the system changes, we'll still have the same concerns. Service hasn't led to healing, and that leads us to discern that it's the system.
It's the system that creates these conditions. It's the system that sustains these addictions, where success is defined by acquisition, and oppressed stay oppressed by definition, by the system. It's the system. It's the system. It's the system.
See, the thing is, it's good and noble work to feed the hungry and provide shelters to the homeless, but unless we look at the things that are actually causing hunger and homelessness, we'll stay stuck in an endless cycle of charity.
And the one thing for sure about that is it'll burn you out.
And meanwhile, the needs just get bigger and bigger.
And compassion fatigue sets in.
Right. Meeting the needs feels good, but it's the low-hanging fruit. If we really want to make a difference, we have to dig deeper.
The bottom line is that as long as there are systems in place that depend on one person profiting at the expense of others, we'll stay stuck in a cycle of poverty and injustice.
Which leads to a never-ending cycle of pain, disease, and despair.
And that, in a word, is wrong.
And wrong must be made right.
Yeah. It's up to us not just to meet the need, but to right the wrong that has created the need.
Mama always told me, and Daddy told me too, and Grandma told me over and over and over till she turned blue. You've gotta change the system. You've gotta learn to right the wrong. You've gotta figure out a new way so that everyone belongs.
It's not about the sandwich, not about the bread. It's all about equal pay so a family can be fed from the work of their own hands.
From a place of pride, not shame.
Let's make it happen. I'd like to try if it's all the same.
They are, but so are the others. And it almost seems like they're in competition with each other. Meet the needs versus change the system.
There is a human tendency to view a lot of life as competition, to think there's only our way.
That certainly seems to be how they're thinking.
Yeah, for now. Part of the magic of the CJ Cafe is that as people gather here, They begin to see things differently.
Well, I know we've seen that before, but I'm just not sure we're seeing it now.
Sometimes in the moment, you can't be sure of what you're seeing. Our job is to keep doing what we're doing and creating the spaces for those miracles to happen.
I know. I'm trying.
It's pretty amazing to think it all started here as a Bible study 12 years ago.
Yeah, a lot has happened since then. We've made a lot of progress in our understanding of putting our faith into action.
Not that Bible study is not important. It's still at the heart of growing in our faith. Right. What we realized, though, after being a part of the CJ Cafe and listening and learning to others, is that we can't help but see it's not enough to just grow inwardly in our faith.
Right. It's not just about personal holiness, but about social responsibility.
I guess it's really just two sides of the same coin.
There's been a lot of conversation about whether we are justified by faith alone or whether it's by good works that we are saved.
Ha! Conversation? More like one of the great theological debates of all time.
Yeah, we studied that though. The book of James says that faith without works is dead. But the Apostle Paul says it's by faith alone that we are saved.
And somehow that's become a big argument.
And on one hand, it's led people to think that they can just buy their way into heaven by doing good things. And on the other, it's led people to think that they don't have to do anything, just profess their belief.
But it's such a false choice. If we really have faith, we can't help but live it out.
Exactly. What we've come to realize is that the two can't be separated. It begins with faith, but the deeper we go into our faith, the more we are called to live out our faith by the good works we do.
Once we know this love, we must show this love in all that we say and we do. The gift of faith is the gift of love for God, self, and neighbor. Amen. To live in faith is to live in love, to be love in action. As we grow within, as we read and pray, we increase in our love of the Lord. We bring healing to this hurting world. Through mercy we live out God's word. The gift of faith is the gift of love for God, self, and neighbor. Amen. To live in faith is to live in love, to be love in action. Amen. Faith leads to works, and good works deepen faith. Joined by God in love, not ours to separate. The love born in us sees its fullness in all. Bringing hope to the world is our faith's strongest call. The gift of faith is the gift of love for God, self, and neighbor. Amen. To live in faith is to live in love, to be love in action. Amen. To be love in action. Amen. To be love in action.
I think that's what makes the difference for us. Unless it's an extension of our faith, doing good things just comes up a little bit empty.
Yeah, doing good things is an important part of our faith.
But our faith is an essential part of doing good things.
I think what we've learned more than anything else is that it begins and ends with faith. And that faith leads us deeper into relationship with God and Jesus, and that in turn leads us deeper into relationship in God's world.
It's being the hands and feet of Christ.
Having one foot in the church and one foot in the world.
But always being grounded in the community of faith.
One foot here, one foot there. Merge the two, let's not be scared to slip into the world and watch it become walking right alongside. Called to be so much more, living faith beyond the doors. Loving people every day, the least of us a brand new way. Oh, one foot here and one foot over there. Step out and be filled. Be bold, don't dance, be still. Oh, one foot here and one foot over there. Seek to launch, seek to land. Things may change, but Christ will stand. Oh, right between the fear and doubt is also where God's love will win out. We got the why, we got the how, we got the vision. Let's go now. Yeah, keep on moving forward so the church can live His vision in the world. With one foot here and one foot over there. Step out and be filled. Be bold and be filled. Don't dance, stop, follow God's will. On and be still. Oh, one foot here and one foot over there. Step out, step out, step out. Step out, step out, step out. Step out, step out, step out. Oh, one foot here and one foot over there. Step out, step out, step out. Step out, step out, step out. Step out, step out, step out. Oh, one foot here and one foot over there. Be bold and be filled. Don't dance, stop, follow God's will. On and be still. Oh, one foot here and one foot over there. Oh, one foot here and one foot over there. Oh, one foot here and one foot over there.
Hey, I hope you'll all join us for a special celebration tomorrow.
What kind of celebration? Oh, well, a CJ kind of celebration.
Pretty much what we've always done, celebrating who we are, the stories we share, and where we can go from here.
Ooh, intriguing.
Just come tomorrow, all of you, and you'll see.
I remember hearing about how Claire and Jordan used to worry about whether or not the people were getting it. Now I understand how they felt.
What do you mean?
Oh, just that this place has always been about people coming together and sharing their own stories for sure, but also listening to each other's stories.
Don't worry, that's still what this place is about.
It just seems like they're pretty caught up in their own stories.
Sure, everybody does. That's been true forever. So we're here not only for them to share, but also to remind them of how important they are to each other.
I just wish you didn't always have to be reminded.
That's just part of living in community. And remember, from the day that Ben first opened up this place, it's been about modeling it after the community of disciples that Jesus called together.
And I guess Jesus had to keep reminding them of the bigger picture.
He did and does. It's our job to live as fully as we can in that beloved community that began over 2,000 years ago. A community of hope, of inclusion, of change.
And always to remember that we have further to go, room to grow.
Exactly. Hold on, I think I have an idea. Come follow me.
Whoa. What happened to our table? What's this about, Eva?
Oh, just shaking things up a little. Michael, you sit here.
Okay, but it's kind of weird not to have our table.
No kidding. We're all working on different things. This isn't going to work.
Actually, Tyler, we think this is the only way it'll work.
Each of you is doing some really important work. Some of you are boots on the ground, feeding people and building houses so they're warm in the winter. Some of you are working at a systems level, trying to end the cycle of poverty. And some of you are working from within your churches, doing the best you can to live out your faith.
But what if you came together? What if each of you saw what you're doing as a piece of the puzzle, as part of the bigger picture?
Each of us has something to contribute. Each of us is a piece of the whole.
What if it's true, what everyone said? What if together everyone's right? What if each one is a piece of the whole? What if it's colorful, not black and white? There are systems to change and people to feed, a gospel to live and a world that's in need.
We are each a piece of the whole. Everyone here must play a role in changing the world, in righting the wrong, in creating a place where we all can belong. So find your place and make some more room. Tend to God's garden where everyone blooms. Listen and learn, trust and believe. Open your hearts to the love we receive, then you'll know you're a piece of the whole.
It's easy to think there's only one way, and that way is mine, no ifs and or buts. But when we let blinders limit our view, that's when we get stuck in all kinds of ruts. There's systems to change and people to feed, a gospel to live and a world that's in need.
We are each a piece of the whole. Everyone here must play a role in changing the world, in righting the wrong, in creating a place where we all can belong. So find your place and make some more room. Tend to God's garden where everyone blooms. Listen and learn, trust and believe. Open your hearts to the love we receive, then you'll know you're a
of you might remember, and I'm sure a lot of you didn't know, but CJ Cafe started as a way to bring those pieces together, a place where it all made sense.
And that's still what it is.
Yeah, for sure. The guy who started it all, Ben, did it as an expression and a living out of his Christian faith.
Wait, you never said anything about having to be Christian.
No, you're right. Here, you don't have to be anything. But for Ben and for Claire and Jordan after him, and for Jamie and me, well, we are Christians. And that means living our lives as disciples. For us, that is lived here.
But you just said it's not just about faith, but about all the pieces fitting together.
True. It's all about the pieces. Maybe it's better to think of it as a tapestry. Not different pieces that fit together like a jigsaw, but different strands that weave together. Faith weaves through it all, and so does caring for people, and so does working to eradicate injustice and oppression.
So there's room for everyone?
Of course. That's why we created one table. Sometimes this will be the gathering place for many different people with many different points of view and beliefs. For us, though, first it is a place where we will share communion with each other, a common union, a place where we can come together.
We come together as the body of Christ. We bring our brokenness and the brokenness of our world, and we give it to God. And in that surrendering, we are freed and made whole again.
Without sharing this connection by breaking the bread and sharing the cup, nothing else is possible. With it, all things are possible.
A bigger table's what he said. Room for every kind of bread. A space where all now can be fed together. So break the bread and share the cup. There's a new way, fill us up and send us out into the world together to make a change.
Everything about Jesus, his life, his teachings, his actions, his death, his resurrection is about one thing: love.
More specifically about God's love, and making sure that everyone knows that God's love is for them, no matter who they are or what they've done.
That's why we can no longer sit at separate tables when we are to share this meal together.
The table of God's love is a table that always, always has room for everyone.
Love, it is the starting place. Love, it is the sacred space. Love is God's redeeming grace forever.
Look with eyes that thirst for more. Cross the threshold on the floor and see beyond the open door together.
The world is waiting now for you to heal it and to make it new. Compassion has a different view when we're together to change the
Sharing this sacred meal together is a reminder both of our brokenness and our being made whole through God's love.
We are broken by our own divisions and by the hurt and suffering in the world.
And we come together to work through those divisions so that we can work together to heal the world.
We share that vision and we recommit ourselves to the vision every time we share this meal together.
Let this prayer from the Iona community be our prayer. Creator of the world and all its people, we are glad that all things are held in your hands. You have not left us alone. And we celebrate the work of your Spirit, encouraging people of the world to work for justice, to speak for the voiceless, and to always anticipate that the best is yet to come.
If, however, we have driven a wedge between piety and peacemaking, erected a wall between prayer and politics, associated the purposes of heaven with only the gentler things of earth, God of justice, show yourself.
If we have offered to false gods the devotions that you alone deserve, if we have dismissed the gospel as irrelevant to the world? God of justice, show yourself.
If we have dumbed down your word and domesticated your spirit because we wanted an easier faith and a tamer dove, God of justice, show yourself.
Wherever in our nations, the poor are endangered, the sick are neglected, prisoners are refused redemption, and strangers among us are suspected.
God
of justice, show yourself.
Wherever in our world the lust for profit undermines the longing for peace, or the greed for power overrides the need for fairness, God of justice,
show yourself. In the prison visitor and the mediator, in vigils for peace and protests to protect the earth, to all who fear for the future of children, for those who long for a different way. God of justice, show yourself.
May God our Maker bless us and wrap us round in love and tenderness.
May Jesus our brother bless us and ask us the questions that lead us to change the world.
May the Holy Spirit bless us and fill our lives with her courage and wisdom. And may we live bravely in the love of the Trinity all our nights and days. Amen.
From now on, there will be one table at the CJ Cafe.
But what happens when it's full? What do we do then?
That is always the challenge. Making space for others and making sure we don't close ourselves off to new people or new ideas.
So, how do we do that?
For some of us, maybe that means moving someplace new, bringing the message there, starting something new.
For others, it means starting here, gathering around the table for renewal and inspiration, then going out into the community, into the world to make change.
For all of us, it means staying connected to each other, to this beautiful message, to the world.
The message that is the vision that is the message.
The message of hope, of love, and of welcome for each and all of us.
And carrying that message wherever we go.
Making space for all, that's our sacred call. There's room at the table here, let love chase away fear. But what if we forget, we're still not there yet? How do we make it real? There's so much left to hear.
grateful that you've joined us this evening to be a part of the CJ Cafe. And over the past number of nights, when we have been performing to people who've just come in for a glimpse or people who've seen it in their entirety, we've come to notice that there's a certain theme or a common thread that runs through people's comments. And they are, we didn't want it to end, we wanted more. And so to that I say yes. And yes, because what that means is that perhaps we're still hungry and thirsty for more. And maybe you're feeling that same way too. Maybe you're feeling that something you heard tonight is nudging you to push past the doors of this place, push past the walls of this place, or maybe even push past the ways that you have done things, or the way you've been, or the ways you've held on to things. Push for something more. That there's been this nudging that has happened to you that has been a call from God to live into your fullness of what your potential is in this world. Perhaps tonight you can begin building on your own dreams, to think boldly, to live courageously, to begin writing the next sequel to this show. That's our prayer for you. That tonight, each one of you will carry from this place a message of hope and of possibility and of promise into a world that is so incredibly eager and excited to watch you make change in the world for good. We're excited to take an offering tonight. And it's the offering is being taken for two programs that are in your local community. And they're right up here, but I have two people one from each of these organizations. I'm going to let them come up and share just a little bit about what these programs are about. So come on up. Giovanna and also Mindy, if you guys would come up now. Yeah.
Thank you. That was amazing. I felt like it was a big commercial for our agency, to be honest. Every song I felt like spoke to us, and which was an amazing reminder. So we are a homeless and runaway youth shelter, and we are currently in the midst of partnering with Child Welfare to also foster and house youth that are in the system, which is a huge need in our community. So we're very excited for that vision moving forward. We create the foundation that was mentioned with basic needs, and then from there build upon that with a lot of the themes mentioned, resilience and having youth see the value that they bring to this world, and encouraging them to be the change that they want to see in the world. So thank you so much. Is there a copyright on that? Because that would be great marketing. It was beautiful. No, but can't thank you enough, and we're proud to be in this community, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, just like she said, I can't even, it gives me great hope for the future to see young people like you express your faith and come out and go through this through the whole summer, and to know that it's been going on for numerous years, it's just amazing. I'm Mindy. I'm with Camp Millennium. We have been around for 27 years. This was our 27th camp. We were founded in Roseburg by a group of people who knew that kids that have to deal with cancer deserve just to be kids sometimes. So once a year, we offer a free camp to kids who are either dealing with cancer themselves, a sibling, or a parent, where no cost to the family, they can come and just be kids and not have to worry about if I have hair, do I have a port, do I have to take chemo while I'm there, whatever. This last camp, in the last week of June, we had 108 kids come, and I can honestly tell you, they do everything. Ride horses, zip lines, big swings, go swimming. Their parents are like, if they want to do it, you let them do it. So we let them do it. And we're just thankful that you guys are willing to do an offering for us also. Thank you.
Kivana said, mentioned, is this copywritten? Of course it's copywritten, yes. But what the copyright for us goes with, if people want to use words or music, we are always willing to keep the message moving forward. So we can certainly talk, yes. We would love to share it and keep that moving forward in the world. So when you give your offering tonight, why don't you dig a little deeper? These are really important things going on. Not just dropping in the plate something that might cover a couple lattes, but maybe like a good dozen or so lattes or something, you know? Dig deep, dig deep. Thank you for your generosity. And we will close as you take the offering with a song that we always do. And if there's any alumni that are here tonight, we invite you to come up and sing with us. Probably best if we